Hello, writers. Today I want to talk to you about paragraphing in informational texts, which is what you are in the middle of writing. So here's our strategy. Today I want to teach you that writers of informational texts create new paragraphs for every heading or subheading section. Also, sometimes within a section, they will have more than one paragraph to help their reader better understand what you're trying to teach them. So we know that we use a new paragraph every time a new idea is introduced. And when we write informational texts, we are always going to have a new paragraph when we have a new heading or a subheading. But what I want to focus on today is how you may find that you need several paragraphs for each heading, especially if you're showing a movement of time or a slight change in what is happening. So let's take a look at this text passage. So this subheading is called Above the Flames, and it comes from a Scholastic News text, which is about fighting forest fires and how they fight forest fires. So we can see that this section, this heading Above the Flames, is divided into two paragraphs. Here's one paragraph, and here's another paragraph. So two paragraphs in one heading. And let's see why the writer did that. Above the flames, wildfires often start deep in wilderness areas, but strong winds can cause them to spread extremely fast and threaten nearby homes. Getting the biggest fires under control can take weeks. Now let's think, why is there a new paragraph? When a wildfire breaks out, aerial teams are often the first on the scene. Supervisors in spotter planes gather information about the blaze and coordinate with firefighters on the ground about the best way to contain it. Spotters also guide tanker planes to drop chemicals to slow the fire's spread. So this first paragraph is more about when they start and how more of an introduction and how they spread. And then that sets us up for the second paragraph, which actually, this is the second paragraph. This is actually talking about what happens, okay, when they start fighting the forest fires. Okay, let's take a look at another example. So this is about, this text is about history, and it is about the Aztec Empire being taken over by Spanish conquistadors or Spanish conquerors. So here in this surprise visitors section, let's see how many paragraphs we have. We have one paragraph. We have two paragraphs. We have three paragraphs, and this paragraph is the continued up here. So we have three paragraphs. And let's take a look why. In 1519, the Aztec Empire was at the peak of its powers when conquistadors, or conquerors from Spain, arrived. They were led by Hernán Cortés. Montezuma II was uncertain about the visitors, but he invited them to stay in his palace. The Spaniards weren't very good guests, however. For one thing, they began stealing Aztec jewelry. They wanted gold that they could carry back to Spain, says Smith. Smith is someone that was interviewed in another part of the article. They had metal workers melt down a lot of the jewelry and form it into gold bars. So this paragraph here, this second paragraph, is where the writer used a quotation. They set it off. And we know when we use dialogue, we use other paragraphs. Now let's look at the third paragraph. The third paragraph reads, soon the relationship grew sour or bad, and the Spanish took Montezuma II prisoner. Historians aren't sure exactly who killed him on June 30th, 1520, but they agree that his death was the beginning of the end for the Aztec Empire. After fleeing Tenochtitlan that night, Cortés and his army returned about a year later. They soon conquered the Aztecs and established a new colony. So this whole subheading is all about time, okay? This paragraph here, paragraph 1, starts with an introduction and the arrival of Hernán Cortés and the conquistadors. Then this second paragraph talks, including the dialogue and the quotation, talks about them stealing things. And this third paragraph continues to move ahead in time and talks about how the Spanish conquistadors took the Aztecs hostage and then conquered the rest of the colony. So here, the writer used the paragraphs to show the movement of time as things changed. So now I want you to try it. Go through your writing and think about where there's a shift in what you're trying to teach the reader. Those shifts tell you where you need a new paragraph. Good luck, writers.